Hello, welcome to Punky's World. We are going to talk about becoming Cody Rhodes. It was actually a really good documentary. It was very heartfelt. Very honest. He talked about losing his dad, and he talked about, his dad being his hero, and how do you come into a business when your father is literally on the Mount Rushmore? And the expectations of you in that situation. And how when he dyed his hair blonde, it was when he felt that he had earned the right to do that. To be like his dad. And Dustin. Even when he didn't believe in himself, Dusty believed in him. And, he talked about that. And and Brandy talked about how he made chicken salad out of the chicken waste that Stardust was. And she's right. And he talked about becoming a dad, and they actually talked about All In, and they talked about AEW, and they didn't, usually they kind of gloss over other places besides the WWE that the person has been, but they went through it all, and I appreciate the transparency, the forbidden door, so to speak. It was amazing. It was very emotional. Like I said, it was heartfelt. And I felt above all else it was honest on all sides about him leaving. They didn't gloss over anything, and I appreciate that. Whoever put that together, kudos and hats off, because that is what a true shoot documentary should be in the wrestling business. I highly recommend, if you have Peacock, watch it. Yeah, it's about 2 hours long, but it goes so fast that it won't feel like 2 hours. I can promise you that. Oh boy. So, and they also actually cleared up Dusty's death a little bit. Dusty had been sick for a while, and Michelle knew it, and Dusty, like my father, was a stubborn old man who never complained, and but Michelle had a feeling, just like my mother had a feeling. It just so reminded me of my dad. And it's something going on in his belly, and one morning, and this really reminded me of my dad. He got up and he said to his wife, "I'm very, very sick. I'm very sick." And it was like, oh my God. The morning my mother found my father on the floor, bleeding to death from blood thinners with an ulcer, which he had a history of. He said, "I'm awful sick. I'm awful sick." I was on the floor. Dusty basically said the same thing and collapsed to the floor. But to hear that, it was like, dear Lord, this is exactly what happened to my father, And so I could relate on a level that I don't think a lot of people could relate on. And my mother could relate to Michelle on a level that I'm not sure how many other people can relate to her on. Because it's exactly what happened to my dad. And when my dad went in the hospital, came out, went back in, my dad died of heart disease. Dusty died of sepsis. The infection he had, it spread everywhere, and he was septic. And 70-something-year-old man who was septic, the outcome of that is not very good. I mean, the outcome of sepsis isn't very good anyway, but, the prognosis is not terrific. Some people do survive it, no doubt. But they had to have been young, strong, and healthy before it happened. My mother also died of sepsis. Well, kidney failure due to sepsis, which is what he died of. And Cody was so right in something he said. He said, it's not like you see on TV, where all of a sudden you look at the machine and it goes, "Brrr," and it's a flat line. He said, it doesn't work that way. You watch someone that you love, your hero, slowly die. And he's right. That is the way it happens. With both of my parents, I watched them both fade away over weeks and months in my father's case, weeks, about 2 months in my mother's case, slowly fade away from you. I could so relate to that comment. I'm sorry if I'm bringing it back to me, but in watching it, I could relate to what he spoke about. And I just feel my heart goes out to him even more. And all the things that he and Brandy have done for little fans, just out of the goodness of their heart, whether it be in the WWE or AEW or whatever, they've paid for things. They've brought kids to shows for nothing. They've done so much. And I know that his dad is so proud of the man that Cody is. And he was talking about living up. He said, it's ridiculous hard to live up to the wrestler my father was. And the man. He said it's even more difficult to live up to the father that he was. And he said, I hope I'm half the dad, to Liberty that my father was to me. And I'm sure you will be, Cody. She's almost 3 years old. That's crazy, man. And Cody and Brandy have now been married 10 years. And Dusty introduced them. Brandy was one of his kids in Florida Championship Wrestling, and before NXT. And he said to Cody, "This girl has the most beautiful eyes. You have to meet her. She does have gorgeous eyes." And it never even occurred to Dusty that this girl wasn't the same color because he didn't care. Nor should anyone else. You know? And my parents were the same way. If I had married someone, you know, who was black or Japanese or whatever, they wouldn't have cared. You know? And Dusty was raised that way, you know. I remember reading in his book, Reflections of an American Dream, talking about growing up in Austin, Texas. He said, you know, I grew up in a neighborhood, you know. We didn't have a lot. My father was a plumber. We dug ditches, you know. Plumbers back then didn't make what plumbers today make. And I helped him dig ditches from the time I was 9 years old, you know. And he said, but my friends were an eclectic group because I grew up in the city, you know, in Austin. And so I had a ton of Hispanic friends, I had black friends, white friends. It didn't matter to me, and it didn't matter to my parents what my friends looked like, you know. There was a lot of prejudice back then, especially growing up in the South. He said that I wasn't raised that way, and he didn't raise his kids that way. So, but you can imagine being a boy in the South in the 50s and 60s, the kind of hate he must have seen, you know. But I thought it was the sweetest thing in the world when what he described to Cody was her beautiful eyes. You know, what a gentleman, first of all. To notice a lady's eyes and not be paying attention to all the other curves. You know what I mean? What a true gentleman. That was the first thing I thought of. And Cody said, it's funny because when I met her, and we talked a few times, and he's the first time I got up the courage to actually talk to her when I saw her. He said the makeup and hair lady had done her hair in this just gigantic, I don't know what she was thinking. He said, so I told her, I said, have you looked in the mirror at your hair? You know, just, you know, because it was so big. And so she went to fix it, and one of the girls said, what are you doing? She said, I have to fix my hair. I said, why? There's nothing wrong with it. And she said, who told you there was nothing wrong with it? She said, Cody. And the girl said, he's flirting with you. Cody wasn't flirting with her. He was being honest. But they ended up dating after that. So his honest comment that was taken as flirtation ended up in a relationship. So, and a 10-year marriage. So, and a beautiful 3-year-old daughter. So anyway, that's funny. So, But I won't give away too much of it. I will just say that I appreciated the transparency. They didn't gloss over anything. They didn't try to hide where he was, or anything like that. And they didn't gloss over um, the facts about his departure from the company. So, um, there's something about Brandy that's always seemed, even though she's absolutely gorgeous, she always comes off as approachable, kind. Probably because she is. Um, and I've always liked her. There aren't a lot of lady wrestlers that I'm a huge fan of. Um, she is one of them, without a doubt. I liked the lady managers, not Ballet's managers. There's a difference. Um, Baby Doll Precious Sunshine, the ones that actually got involved. Those are managers, those are not ballets. I'm trying to think. Oh, Miss Linda. We talked about that in the Daily Journal. Um, Trying to think. As far as actual wrestlers go that are women, there weren't a whole lot that I really enjoyed. Um, I remember it was my father that taught me it was okay to like the bad guys. If the bad guys were good wrestlers, it was okay to like them. So my father loved the Hart Foundation. He just saw Jim Neidhart was powerful, entertaining, and just funny as all get out. And Bret Hart was, as Gorilla Monsoon dubbed him, the excellence of execution. My father said, you want to see wrestling, you want to see pure wrestling, watch Bret Hart. He always said that, and I so wish I could tell Bret what an impact that he made on my dad. And, but anyway, so I liked Hollywood and Vine. They were a heel tag team of ladies, and I was very blessed to have Jenny Bassone, who was Hollywood, become my friend on Facebook through other ladies from Glow who were my friends that I was talking to about how much they meant to me, Hollywood and Vine, and how great I thought they were. And they introduced me to her, and she's still my friend on Facebook. And she was so kind and so sweet about it, and I'll never forget that. I adore Trish Stratus. Bianca Belair is amazing. Rhea Ripley is amazing. And I like Rhea as a person. I've seen stuff of her outside the ring. I just really like her. I always liked Sherry Martel. I always thought she was just closer to the guys in her presentation. Her promos were spot on. Her wrestling was second to none. We got here because we were talking about Brandy. And I love Britt Baker. Same thing. I just admire what she was able to do while maintaining a wrestling career. She maintains a dental career. She went to school, became a dentist. So she's smart, and she's gorgeous, and she's a talented athlete. She's got it all, baby. And so, for me, when I was a kid, I loved Wendy Rector. But overall, there were some women I liked and some women I didn't. And a lot of women's wrestling I didn't really care about. Oh, I think Charlotte's a great wrestler too. Ashley. So, but those are my opinions. I hope to see Brandy back in the ring. I don't know whether that will happen, because I think she's kind of concentrating on being Liberty's mom. And what a perfect name for the American Dream's granddaughter, Liberty. I think he would love that. He actually just became a great-grandfather. Dustin's a grandfather. So. And actually, Kristen might be a grandmother too, for all I know. So, thank you so much. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I give it an A+. And I'll see you next time when we have our, excuse me, oh God, my brain is not working today. Food pantry haul. Excuse me. I have a ton of crap to take to the Historical Society tomorrow. And I will probably do another video for that as well. You know, for what was I going to say? For tomorrow, because I will be at the Historical Society. So, and of course, as always, I'll update you on that. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. Well, no, I'll see you for the food pantry haul. Then I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Whoops. God bless you. And please check out the Melbourne John Doe over on Kid Missing TV. Link in the description. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.